A big hello and a warm welcome to all of you amazing people out there to my channel, the Twinflame Union. And the title of this channeling session is Divine Masculine's Homecoming, Faith Can Move Mountains, and this is part 2 of this channeling session. The channeler is Sunamoon, and I would like to say that I was talking about where it ended, the part 1, about retrospection. And I also want to say, why is retrospection important? Retrospection is not important because you are going to orchestrate the Divine Masculine's homecoming. That's not your job actually. You are not supposed to be bothered about what the Divine Masculine does and does not. It might sound a bit weird to you because you must be thinking that, hey, am I not supposed to do inner work? Am I not supposed to do all of this healing? Am I not supposed to do all the research? First you say do inner work, do healing, do this, do that, and then you say you're not supposed to be bothered about his homecoming? What is this? Is this contradictory or not? It's not contradictory. It's very crystal clear because when you do inner work, you do it for your own self. You do it because there are blocks in your path. You do it because there are blocks in your own incarnation. You do it because your ancestors need healing. You do it because you are an individual entity on this planet right now. Your identity needs healing. And that identity has a mirror because everything has an equal and opposite reaction on this planet. That's how it works. I don't know how many of you know about Srimad Bhagavad Gita, but this book, Srimad Bhagavad Gita, which is not just a book for me, I use it a lot during my channeling sessions, and I also use it when I'm doing readings for other people. When people ask me questions, there are many times when I give the answers from Srimad Bhagavad Gita. A lot of these terms that you listen to, that have been given by the Western science, like energy cannot be created, it cannot be destroyed, it can only move from one person to another. All of these things have actually come from Srimad Bhagavad Gita. All these theories. It is deep, vast science. And why am I talking about it right now? I'm talking about it because what I'm trying to say here is that you have a separate individual identity that you need to heal. And when you heal, the mirror will automatically reflect what it sees. And I said this in the last channeling also, you can cross-check. I remember every single word which I say in every single channeling. There will be no option but to reflect what's in front of them. And why do you meet them? You don't meet them because you have to heal them. They will do the healing on their own. Let them do it. You focus on your own feelings. That's why inner work is important. And the most important element is to improve your intuition power, to improve your gut. And when you go further up in this ascension journey, when you have a technique, when you practice every single day, when you practice every single moment, you try to, you leave it on God and you take help from the higher masters. They will help you. Always, they help you, always. Every single time you ask for help, they help you. Every single time. Last night I was doing a tarot card reading. Last night. And it was, I slept at 9 p.m. and I woke up at 12. I live with a lot of dogs actually. I meet around 50 odd dogs every day. I have more animal friends on this planet than I have human friends. And they are really so amazing. They're all so amazing. They give you so much love. They give me so much love. And whatever I am today, it's everything. A lot of credit goes to my animal friends. Especially all my dog friends. And if they were not here with me, if they would not have met me, I won't be doing this channeling session also. I won't be here. I would be probably somewhere in the mountain doing nothing actually. We don't have to go to nature always. We don't have to go alone in solitude, because this solitude, you have to find it wherever you are. So when I said that masculine comes home, he will not come home until you have not found home, because he's supposed to reflect what you are going through. This will happen without fail. And I know it. So I was doing the readings, and there is one card which keeps popping up. Every time I ask the question, it keeps popping up. I've got so scared and emotional that I'm not going to ask this question anymore now, because every time I ask, the same card comes, and it has blown my mind. That is the power of intuition. That is the power of intuition. Intuition is something that human beings they are born with it, but they lose it. Every single person loses it. They lose it because of the education system, because the education system tells you to compete, to be envious. In India, we used to have the Gurukul System. And my life's purpose is to bring back the Gurukul System. And if you guys want to contribute to that, you can do that. You can connect with me and you can ask me how you can contribute. You can contribute with money, and you can also contribute by volunteering. If you cannot do it by money, but you can do it by volunteering, then too I would love that, because I need people who would be physically helping me out with this dream project. In the Gurukul system, they used to teach you from the day one. They would start teaching you how to do focused attention, how to do dhyan, and the next 10-15 years of your life would be dedicated, devoted to that. You will become a householder if you want to, that's up to you, but that will happen once you have crossed puberty. That is how the curriculum used to work. They would teach you the Vedas, they would teach you the Upanishads, they would teach you the Puranas. And the Vedas, they are 10,000 years old and probably even older than that. They are so authentic. The Vedas have written that marijuana, cannabis, is the king of all herbs. The corporations, the governments are calling marijuana to be a drug. But in the Vedas, it's used as a curing herb. It's a herb. This is the difference between the corporations now and the Vedas. Why would Veda write something like this? There are so many plants like reishi mushroom, which I consume every day, by the way. And I can say this from my own experience, that reishi mushroom makes you so positive. It does not make you hallucinate. It does not give you any sort of, those trips that some people look for. But if you have it 1 cup in the morning, it's called the tea of immortality. If you have 1 cup in the morning, you guys can check all of this out. I have another channel for this where I share my vlogs. I talk about all these things that are happening in the planet, like the pedophilia ring in America, and it's happening all over the world. These are the negative entities that have ruined the education system, the original education system, which was based on humanity, on love and compassion. So what are we doing? We go to the schools and colleges, we learn to envy one another, we learn to compete with one another, we want to get the ranks. They tell you, they teach you that until and unless you don't score the rank, the grades 1, 2, 3, first, second, third, you're not a complete, proper human being. They will give you so many wounds in the school and college. They will divide you on the basis of caste, color, creed. And when you grow up and when you fall in love, when you find your divine masculine or divine feminine, you will have so many problems with one another. You will never find the correct person. You would be having sex with all random people. And the divine masculine, they go through a lot because of this. You think over here that you are the one who's suffering, you're the one who's in pain. That's not completely true. They're also in pain. And I know this because if you read the Ramayana, it's my favorite epic. In my life, I don't love anything more than Ram and Sita. They are my parents, or they are my friends. I see them in many different forms. And when I was living in Goa, and I have lived in many different places in Solitude. I lived in Goa, I lived in Kasol, I've lived in Pokhara, which is in Nepal. I have lived in Kerala, I have lived in different places. I have lived in Bombay for a long time. I have lived in all these places, and it helped me to understand different facets of my life, different types of communities, different types of foods, different types of people. And I remember once I was channeling a painting, and when I was starting the painting, and obviously I don't sit with what I'm going to paint. I always paint with anything that comes to my mind. So I was painting a yogi. It was a man in blue color, and it was Ram. I was painting Ram, but my hands didn't stop. I just could not stop the painting. And when I ended the painting, it was Sita. You can check that out, the whole transformation. You will be stunned to see the transformation. That painting, when I was in Goa, it actually gave me this very strong message. And this is when Sita was walking in the fire. When she had to tell the world, she has to give a proof of her purity, of her love. She had to go through so much. Just imagine, you love a person so much, someone kidnaps you, keeps you in their whatever building, their palace. And when you're rescued, you have to show it to the world that you, being a woman, you are the one who has character, who has not done anything wrong. This is the type of planet we live in. When she was giving that proof of her purity, that is what I painted. Sita walking in fire. That's what I ended up painting, from Ram, who was in the forest, to Sita walking in fire. This is how it got connected. And from that day onwards, I started going through many phases and many situations where I felt how Lord Ram could have felt when he was separated from Sita. I used to always question this as a child. Sometimes I used to get very angry, and I would say, why would you leave your pregnant wife in the forest? Why would you do that? Who does that? I used to say that. How cruel of you. But when I realized that he loved her so much, but it was the society, it was the same people he was serving who questioned her, who questioned them together, because they were the king and queen. And being a king, his subject, his people had to be of utmost importance and not his own personal relationship. So he had to also give up on the person who he loved the most. So all those people who blamed Lord Sri Ram for giving up on Sita, making her go through exile, they do not understand that it was equally hard and difficult for them. So if you love somebody, and that person, and if it's true love, I'm not talking about time pass, I'm not talking about, fake stuff, I'm not talking about Tinder, and I'm not talking about, having sexual intimacy or one night stand or hookups and blah, blah, blah. I'm talking about pure, genuine love. First of all, first and foremost, you need to also be on the standpoint where you know that I love this person for their soul and not for their body. I don't care how they look, I don't care how they are, I don't know how much money they got, I don't know what caste, color, creed, nationality, race, blah, 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 whatever they have, but I love them for who they are. Unless you have not found that standpoint that this is the person I want. In the world of law of attraction, in the world of manifestation, they call it specific person. In the world of twin flame journey, we call it the twin flame divine masculine or divine feminine, but for them it is specific person. So if you are trying to manifest the specific person, in that scenario also, you first need to know who is the specific person. And that you can only know when you have actually felt true love for someone. Pure love without any conditions, unconditional love. So you need to build that intuition. If you don't build up that intuition, which you are born with otherwise, and which has been tampered with, reduced, removed for some people, people were turned into machines, and there are so many people on this planet who are literally living like machines every single day. They are modern slaves. Their intuition is dead. It's over. It's gone. You guys have to revive it. And to revive it, you guys have to have faith. And that's why I say the homecoming of divine masculine is equal to the homecoming of divine feminine. You gotta find the home, and home is where the heart is, and heart is where the soul is. It's as simple as that. You might think that I'm doing poetry, but I am also a poet by profession. So I'm not just doing poetry for the sake of doing poetry. These lines mean something. These lines have come from my experience. And I know, and somehow I can feel that They suffer too, a lot. You gotta have compassion. You cannot. I read all these long paragraph comments that he did this to me, he did that to me. I cannot forgive this person, go to hell, this and that. I understand you're in pain, but you need to heal. If you're in pain, if you're suffering, if you're so angry, it means that you need to heal that anger, that trigger. And later on, you're gonna go ahead and thank them for those triggers. Let me tell you this. I'm gonna say this because I've been there, done that. It's not like only you get triggered. There are other people also who get triggered. And it's not that only divine masculine triggers you. It could be someone on the street can trigger you. It could be your mother who can trigger you. It could be your father who can trigger you, your siblings, your best friends. Some of you won't even know what best friend means because you've always met the wrong people. You've never made good friends. And that's because you have not turned inward and found out that the true and the most real friend of yours is you. You are your own best friend. And when you find your own best friend within you, your own best friend is the source. You will know who triggers you and why they trigger you. And you will have to find out the bottom of that trigger, where it's coming from. And I know the other day I was doing a session with someone, an EFT session, a healing session. And this guy, he was going through a lot, and he's in his 30s actually. And I'm obviously not going to take his name, but he's a very good student, I must say that. But he was going through something in the current world, in the present world. And when we were doing the healing, we went straight into his childhood, in a very traumatic place, in a very traumatic space. And it was a session for about 1 hour. There was a lot of crying, there was a lot of venting out, there was a lot of stuff that came out. But that one particular problem, the problem that we actually started with, was as simple as not being able to settle down with the right person. From there, we went straight into the childhood, skyrocketed into it, dived deep into it. And after 1 hour of crying and venting and finding out exactly what it was, the points, the whole scene, when we came out of that session, he was a very released man, very relaxed and very happy, and very his baggage that he was carrying for all these days, that baggage was gone. And there are so many of these spaces, you won't believe it. There's not just one incident like this. There are so many incidents like this, which we carry every day with us in our subconscious mind. We store it. We don't let go of it. But when it's all gone, then you know the real reason. Oh my God, I was crying because of this. Like seriously, somebody took away my balloon. Somebody took away my lollipop. Somebody punched me in the face when I was a kid, and it was a guy, it was like a boy. It can be something really small, and it can be something as big as your father hitting your mother and you being witness to that. It could be as big as that. It could be as small as that. You don't know. But as human beings, we have this it's all scientifically proven that scientifically whatever we catch, whatever we pick up between the age of 0 to 7, including the time when we are in our mother's womb, that is what creates our life after that age. All our adolescence and childhood, it creates our adulthood and the whole life after that. That's how we make templates, that's how we create patterns, that's how we... Everything is so interconnected. In order to build our intuition, we can do many things. Like I spoke about eating food, certain types of foods, it helps us. Not eating processed food, eating mostly cooked, home-cooked food, raw food. Trying to do your own bit when you make food, because food has energy. You don't know from how many hands it has passed on to you and what all those hands have witnessed. What is the energy of that? And you don't know what animal, how they raised it. A lot of people who eat meat, I want to say that I'm not going to be telling you to convert, all of you to convert into pure vegetarians. That's not my idea. But I want you to know that you don't know where your food is coming from. And this food goes to your guts. And your guts, that's why we always say that I feel it's in my gut. You know, when you get an intuition, you say, it's my gut feeling. My gut is telling me so. That's because gut is where everything happens. Your brain is not the most important part of your body. Your heart is not even the most important part of your body. Your gut is. So when I talk about foods like reishi mushroom, these are the foods that it's called the mushroom of immortality for a reason, because it cleanses your gut. So you got to take care of all these things, all these aspects, like food, like what are you watching on television? What is the content? Sometimes you can get actually a lot of therapy done via content also, what you watch. What you watch gives you food for thought. Like if you watch a lot of porn, that's why they say you should not watch porn at all, because porn is full of so much shit. It's the worst food for your mind. All of these things, but I would say one thing from my experience, that you can turn anything into healing, and once you heal it, you know why it's there. A lot of divine masculines, they watch porn. A lot of them. This is one of their major addictions, and I've been told that. I've been told by the people I've healed. And it's not necessary that I only work with divine feminines. I also work with divine masculines. So what is interesting for me, very interesting for me, is that I get to see the other side also. And when I see the other side, and when they tell me why they're running, it's not because of the divine masculine. None of them has told me that I'm running because of her. They always tell me something which has been there in their own system. That my life was like this, my childhood was like this, so I'm not ready. I don't feel like it, but I'm not happy about not being ready. I am very troubled because I'm not ready. Why am I not ready? I do love her. I want to go to her. Somebody once told me that she keeps calling me and she keeps asking me, is there any hope? Is there any hope? Are we going to be back together again? Or somebody once told me that his DF was getting married to someone else because of age gap. They have big age gap, and she is also a divorcee. So this is the second time, she trusted him and he broke her trust, is what he told me. Okay. And he told me that I broke her trust and I don't want to go back to her because I don't even deserve her. And she is messaging me and she is asking me every now and then that, is there any hope? So this messaging of the DF is actually making him run further. And I cannot say that because I'm not working with the DF, I'm working with the DM here. And all I can do is I can just help him out. I can just say, okay, we'll figure it out. But what my point is over here is, it's not that only you are suffering. They are suffering too. But their suffering is different than your suffering. That's it. But they're suffering too. I'm going to end the part 2 here because I want to take a break now and I want to grab something to drink, and I will come back again in part 3 and I will continue this channeling session with you all, amazing people. One love and peace out, and see you soon.